Oh no, it's Yakkin with Nick, and I'm Nick Hazelton. Well, what's up, guys? I'm here. It's been a long time since I made an episode. I've actually made a few. I've recorded a couple in the last since September. That was the last time I released an episode, right after I survived my wreck. What can I say? I'm still alive. I'm still farming. I'm still out here doing the same old things, living out in Kings Valley, Hoskins, RL, Copland, wherever the fuck you want to call it, man. Most people call it Hoskins if they're out here, and that's pretty close. But if you want to be politically correct, it's RL. ARELL. There used to be a sign. Now there isn't. Supposedly one of the neighbors has it. And, yeah, whatever. The point being, I'm just catching you up. I'm just here to tell you what's going on with Nick Hazelton and to say, I don't know if I will be producing content like I have always tried to plan. Here's the pattern, man. If you haven't picked up on it yet, this is the pattern. I try to do something and it doesn't work out the way I thought it would. And then I try to do it again and it doesn't work out the way I thought it would. And then I try like 3 other things on top of that, and they don't go the way I thought they would. And I make plans and I try again and I try again and I try again. And that's been my life for the last fucking 5 years or something. Since I dropped out of school, it's just been like, let's see if I can make money. Nope. All right. Let's see if I can enjoy my life. Well, let's see if I can have a working vehicle. No. It's trial and error, man. And that's what life is, right? And it's difficult. It's frustrating, but that's the point of it all. That's why I did this. Is why I chose to be a farmer and why I chose to drop out of school. Is I knew it was going to be challenging, but worth it. And it's challenging, but worth it. So that's as I expected. That's how I thought it would go. But the problem is when I think I can do something else, on top of it, or when I think I can make my specific plans fit onto a schedule without taking the proper precautions to make that happen. I'm a very scatterbrained person, and I like to do a lot of different things. Podcasting is one thing I enjoy doing. I like playing chess. I do farming and stuff, foraging and making a garden, or raising a garden. What do you call that? It's not building a garden. Maybe it is. I think it's raising a garden. Gardening a garden? Ooh, I don't know. I raise, I've got like 100 or something animals under my care at the moment. Like I've got 35 yaks, 25 pigs with 6. Is that only 60? All right. And then like 20 chickens, hopefully 25 still. I've been having some issues trying to keep my birds alive. The coyotes or something's been getting them before I get to the coop. Since it's later now, it's the fall. So I don't know. Maybe we moved out. We got the birds out in a tractor last month. I think in October, actually. I don't remember. I think October. No, it was the beginning of November. It was absolutely the beginning of November. And I know that. And a couple died at first, but I was like, okay, I need to, keep up this electric fence. And then I realized, well, the electric fence doesn't work because I was on a solar charger, and there's no sun, or something's wrong with the solar charger. Because I had a good ground and I had right connections, it just wasn't zapping. And yes, I tried turning it on and off. And so that wasn't working. So now I'm just trying to beat them down there, beat the coyotes, because for a while they were fine, after I messed with it again, and me and the dog have been going down there in the swamp area where they're out like, damn it, my property is shaped in a very weird shape. It's almost like a half circle with a little bit of a rectangle tacked on part of it. if you look it up, my address and stuff is online because it is a business. Do not try to rob me, because that's, I got somebody, there's at least one human being here that knows how to use a firearm. I'm pulling up maps just for the fun of this. But you can look it up on Google Maps if you find my website at hazeltonfarms.com or hazeltonfarm.com. Or if you're really, really clever, you look up Hoskins, Oregon. Maps isn't showing me streets. Hit me with some streets here, bud. If you go to Hoskins and you find Fort Hoskins Park, and then on one side of the river is Hoskins Road, and the other side is Alexander. And eventually they cross, and Hoskins goes across the river. But you go up Lucky Mute Road from Fort Hoskins Historic County Park, and you go all the way up Lucky Mute River Road, and it cuts off, and then there's Elkhorn Timber, and then right past Elkhorn Timber, just a little bit northwest of Elkhorn Timber, on the map, Lucky Mute Road changes to Wildwood Road, and then you can see there's like two little creeks that go into the Lucky Mute River, and then it takes a weird bend and like a weird knob, and then it's Elkhorn Timber. The border of my property is that northernmost creek, not Harris Creek, which is up there, but that border that's the southern border of my property, and then the Lucky Mute River is the other border, and there's like a little bit of a line there somewhere. It's not quite right. And then from that little corner of where it kind of not quite where the intersection is, it's a little bit, the property line is a little bit off of that little corner of the two creeks that are north of Copland, in between Copland and Harris Creek. And then you can see this little bow like in the river. And then Wildwood Road crosses over the river to Coaches Road and continues up left on Wildwood Road as well. Those are like the corners of my property. What am I telling you? Oh, okay. The position of the birds. This is interesting, I think. I hope for people who want to know what I've been doing, messing with animals. My house is rough. How do I tell you? On one end, where Wildwood Road crosses the river, a little bit off of that, I have a pole barn. That's where the pigs and the male goats and some of the yaks sleep. And then way on the other side, like down on the very, very southern tip, down in that area, pretty much in the back corner where I was talking about where the two creeks they cross and they meet, and then they go into the Lucky Mute River. Just north of that is where the chickens are, and then the house is like. It's closer to the pole barn than the chickens, but like, I don't know, maybe the third of the way from the pole barn to the chickens is where the house is, down closer to the river though. And that's a very long ways away, and we can't hear the birds. We don't see them during the day. I go down there every morning and night to let them out, feed them, and then lock them up at night. And somewhere in between, like not last night, but the night before, we lost, I think, like 3 birds. And the problem is there have been so many that I've never actually known if I have the correct number. So it's always, like, at first it was around 35 chickens. And now we have, I counted, like, not last morning, but the morning before. Not yesterday morning, but the morning before then, we had 26. And I think we've lost more since then. And it sucks. It's just disappointing because, like, right now they're not laying much because it's too cold and not enough sunlight for them or something. Birds have that internal system. I don't know how it works, but they got a clock and it says don't lay eggs right now. I'm just saying it's a bummer. Not that we're not, like, that we're losing out on eggs, but it's just a bummer to lose birds, lose animals to other freaking animals. So our plan is move them closer and keep an eye on them and get out there sooner. So I'm going to try and get out there before, not like right about as it gets dark, which is about 4:30, 5-ish right now. Maybe it's getting earlier. Yeah, it's about 4:30ish, 5-ish. So anyway, that's what's going on. Yaks are all doing pretty well. I've got some, I don't know if I've talked about it a whole lot on this podcast, but I've had some serious issues with parasites, intestinal, stomach parasites, like not roundworms, but there's like a strongyle worm and the regular one, maybe not tapeworms, but there's another one. Ivermectin is used to cure it. Anyway, I did not have nearly as many issues this last fall, or so far this fall. It's not been very rainy, so that's something that might hinder the growth of those parasites. And it froze recently. I don't think that really. Yeah, it hasn't froze very much this fall yet. But I had a few come down early on in the fall with runs, and they lost a lot of weight, and both of them, there's like 3 or 4 of them, I guess 4 of them that I kept back, and they're looking a bit better than they were when I separated them out from the herd, and I weaned some, and so I took these guys and I put them over where the pole barn was, what I was talking about. So those guys are down there, and I'm feeding them out just a little bit more carefully, just so that they're weak, because they've been they've lost a lot of weight. Like, it's not good, so they're not as strong as they used to be, and so now they don't have to compete with other animals for food as much, being separated. So I've got that going on. I'm trying to work with the yaks a lot more. Got, like I said, like 35 of them. I own, I think I own like 21 or something. It's terrible. I don't really know the numbers. Like I go through it and I count them every once in a while, and I figure out, oh yeah. But I forget. Like I could pull up the document and we'd find out, but I'm not gonna, because it's not that important. But there's 35 of them exact, and I don't know, how many of them are whose. And there's about 25 pigs, and those, don't think I've lost any, but yeah, you never know, because I don't know if I count. Those ones are hard to count. Yaks are easy to count because they're big, and they all stay in one herd. Birds, they run everywhere, they move around a lot, and they don't stay in the same spot, and a lot of them look similar. Pigs, most of the little ones look pretty much exactly the same. They run everywhere, including all over the corners of the property and the neighbors' fields. So I never know, My main struggle right now with the pigs is trying to keep them inside their pen, inside the field. I've got plans for that. I'm gonna start pulling out animals. I'm gonna start feeding some grain. I think more grain. I already do feed grain, but I'm thinking of a specific grain. There's a guy who makes some grain here nearby, and it's supposed to be non-GMO stuff. So I'd like to try putting some of the pigs on that. I'm finding that the sows and the breeding stock need a lot more food than the porkers, especially at this age. Like most of my little pigs are about 4 months old right now, and they just don't need as much food as the big pigs, but there's enough of them that the competition, I think, is bad, because the little ones are gaining weight and the big ones aren't. And some of them are doing okay, but my boar has lost some weight recently, and so is one of my sows. And I don't know why the other 2 sows are doing just fine, but I think it has to do with how much grass they eat and how well they digest grass. Not completely sure. But they need more. They need more than that, at least these 2 pigs. So I'm separating them out. I'm building hog shelters, and that's been fun. Lately, the big thing that's just been getting to me is the length of the day. It's just killer, man. I'm used to getting up with the sun, so I'm getting up later. And then recently I've been going to bed a little bit later. last couple weeks or something. I've been off my rhythm, and it's not good. It's not that bad. I think I'm recovering. I've just been doing a lot of random stuff where I want to stay up late, hanging out with friends a couple times the last couple months, and then, gosh, what have I done? I don't know. You just get excited. You're working on business, and you just stay up and think about ideas, and sometimes do things. And I don't know. Got to make life fun too, right? Life's got to be spicy. It's going to bed at the same time every day is ugh. But the main thing has been that, just the length of the day, man. If it's rainy, you can't. If it's too rainy, like it hasn't been super rainy this fall so far. It's just the rains are just now starting to get kind of heavy. Like today and yesterday, they were pretty. It's pretty windy right now, but it was really rainy today. I got soaked outside. Me and the guys. I have people working with me. I think I've talked about it a little bit, but some of my friends from high school. One kid I've known for a long time. But one of my two buddies that essentially we knew each other in high school, and we've become friends since or better friends since I dropped out of school, and they wanted to start farming with me. So they're here with me, and I forgot what exactly I was saying. Oh, the length of the day. Yeah, we got soaked today. We were trying to take stuff to the dump because I'm cleaning up, dude. I'll tell you this. We'll get to it in a second. Because this segues. But yeah, we were cleaning up stuff, and we were outside, and we got caught in the rain, and I was like, well, just push through it, it'll be okay, because, it's like, I haven't done, I do milk deliveries, so I went to town yesterday, and it took up some of my time. I have a mastermind meeting on Monday, so I didn't get to do very much work outside. So I was like, well, I gotta work outside today. And I did, and I tried, and I got really soaking wet, and everybody was cold, and so we had to stop. But we kept going until like 3:30, so it's not that bad. There was only an hour or something left of daylight, but it still feels like, man, I wish I could do more, because in the summer you can keep going until like 10. Because the sun sets at like 9:30 at night. But now it sets at 4:30 in the afternoon. It's like, come on. What is this? So I'm, along with just having a business and, animals are so demanding, right? They need you to do certain things for them. Like I need to trim hooves on multiple animals. Not the pigs. They do pretty well on their own. But the goats and the yaks need help with that. So I gotta do that anyway. It's just that's the main thing that's just been kind of getting to me. It's just like, there's just not enough time in the day to do these things that I want to do. We haven't started tapping maple trees yet. There's been a few frosts, but we're just busy, man. Just a lot of stuff going on the farm. The systems aren't all moving totally efficiently. I think that me and the guys are finally kind of getting in a groove to be able to, understand, okay, this is what we're doing. And I think we've come up with somewhat of a basic system. We've ran through a few tries of trying to organize ourselves. And I think that we've come up with something pretty good for ourselves, and we just need to kind of put it in practice and keep going with it and keep trying. And, it's been pretty amazing getting to work with friends. It's been, I've had them here pretty much the whole summer. And then in September, before September, they were pretty much permanently here. But in September, one of the guys, August, brought out his bus. So me and him live outside, and then all three of us, me, Brady, and August, have trailers, but Brady's needs some work, so we're still working on that, and we might, do some switching around, find another trailer, whatever, wheeling and dealing what you can do, man. But Brady lives inside this, in the podcast studio, actually. He's not here, he's out milking goats right now, but yeah, he lives inside, and it's been cool. Getting to this is like you doing this gets you to be very intimate with each other when you live together and you work together like constantly 100% of the time, 24 hours every 7 days of the week. And, occasionally, they go away, I go away, whatever. But this is different than I'm guaranteed almost anybody has lived. I don't know that, I guess, but it's a different kind. Yeah, it is. In fact, at least the people that I've been around in my life in Western rural Oregon, people don't do this. People don't bring on their friends from high school and start a farm. And it's been really interesting. It's been frustrating. I'll tell you fucking what. I'll say that. I'll say that for sure. I'm an impatient person. I think that the world should, and people and systems should work certain ways. And when things don't go the way I'd like them to be, I get impatient. I'm like, well, that needs to change. And then the thing about that I've learned about philosophy and people and psychology is you can't really change people. They change themselves, and you can be an influence, but that's it. And I've really had to change myself, and it's been a real good practice with Stoicism and kind of realizing, what can I control? Because I don't know, over the summer especially, I had to confront a lot of core beliefs and feelings that I hold, and values and expectations, all these sort of things that I love thinking about and love talking to you guys about. I've really had to confront a lot of myself, dealing with, feeling impatient towards people, not getting the things that I want out of relationships, and, learning how to set boundaries and expectations, and what, how is a working partnership supposed to work, with your friends. It's been very interesting and, frustrating, but totally worth it. Me and the guys we work pretty well together, like to a point where we're very good at recognizing when each of us does a good job. All of us are pretty similar in the sense that we like thinking and we're not that good at doing. So, recognizing that together has been, I think, pretty powerful to be able to, drive ourselves past when we need to, when we feel like stopping, because we know, okay, this is something that we like to do. We like to play video games. We like to hang out. We like to smoke weed, and we don't really like building fences. We don't really like trimming goat hooves. But we know that this is what we want to do, because we don't want to just play video games. We don't want to just smoke weed and just hang out with people. We want to do cool stuff. We want to help people, and we want to do cool shit and help people, folks. And we're learning how to do it. We're learning how to do that. And things are starting to make sense. But I don't know. I think we've got a long ways to go, man. I've got a long ways to go before I feel like I have the true mindset for success. I don't know, man. I don't know. I say that. I don't know what that means. I don't know what the fuck that means. I'll just say this. I could be more honest. I could be more patient, and I can be more loving. Yeah. So that's the main thing going on, man. Living like some hippies in a commune. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I'd like to get the guys on the podcast soon. I'd like to do a lot more things with the podcast soon, but this is what I've decided recently is I have this dream to build a farm out of this land that I'm on, that I've been I have not inherited, but through the legally, but through the circumstances of life, I've been pretty much granted a 55-acre parcel of beautiful Oregon coastal mountain range land, and it's flat. Do you know my property is totally flat, which is pretty fucking cool. All these people trying to farm on mountains, building terraces, and it's like, what are you doing? But you want to know why all these people do that right now? Is because that's where the most of the land is nobody in their damn right mind that wanted to be a farmer would do that, would go like find a hill and be like, yeah, let's terrace this out. No, dude, nobody freaking does that. If you're a hill person and you're like trying to run away from people, yeah, then you go up. Then you go up and build terraces. But the people that came in early and got the flat land, that land is still being farmed. And all these hobby farmers that want to do permaculture, this is just something I've noticed that tends to do with sloped land. And maybe most of the land in the world is sloped. I don't know, but I don't see very much flat land permaculture things. And I don't see very much anything related to Western Oregon in terms of permaculture, and it's kind of upsetting. There's like some Oregon State University videos, but they don't have any specifics. So if anybody is in Oregon and would like to do something like that, hey, like would like to do some research, would like to do some studies on like Western Oregon agriculture, please get a hold of me. I'd like to do a lot more. Me and the guys want to do, we just want to test, we just want to, I don't know, look at the landscape around us and learn what how does this system work? How does the natural systems work so that we can replicate and work with them, to produce our own food and make, our lives better, do cool shit and help people. Right. Where was I going? I don't know why I was talking about people. Okay, yeah. So I'm building a food forest. I was gonna say a food factory. I'm like, well, that's not right. I'm gonna build a food forest, and I'm building the concept in my head. And since the summer, I've been kind of thinking about, where are things going to go. I'm building a map. I don't have it all done, but I have all kinds of ideas of where I want to go. And the guys and my parents, we've all kind of talked about. We generally have an idea, common vision of what we'd like the farm to look like. We'd like it to produce food. We'd like to, especially, like this is what gets me most excited, and I think everybody else most excited, is the idea of bringing other people onto the farm and making this more of a intentional community, around the farm, and connecting back to nature, and exploring some of these older ways that are really coming out. I just love Terrence McKenna because I see the archaic revival. This is what he's talked about, like these old ways of fermenting stuff is coming back into the cuisine. Nobody used, like, I'd never heard of a lacto fermented pickle until some old hippies gave me some, and I was like, what? These are delicious. They made them in a big old crock outside in the freaking shade of their barn, and they're like the best pickles I ever had. Shout out to John and Andrea. I think they were lacto fermented. Now that I think about it, I was like, but I'm pretty sure they could have just been regular brine pickles. I don't know. But they were delicious. They were fantastic. And then, I don't remember how I got into them, man. I don't remember how I got into that. Maybe it was Bon Appetit. It's Alive with Brad Leone. No, I was making pickles before I started watching that. But these things are coming into, like, it's coming back, man. Permaculture and these ideas of working with nature and being more involved with the processes in nature. That's coming. It's getting popular again because if you don't believe, like, what is this guy talking about? Most people are disconnected from most of the natural system of the world. That's why we get freaking scared when storms happen. That's why people don't freaking prepare. It's like we don't live in a way that is conducive to a symbiotic relationship with nature and the world, the natural ecosystems that we live in. We live in this like separated thing we call civilization and culture, where we, especially in the West and in the United States, where our whole system is based on economics, not nature. When what's taught to you in school is not taught to you so that you can survive in this world as a creature at the top of the food chain. Maybe it has something to do with that, right? Sorry, but it's the main thing it's about is showing you how you can be a productive member of our society, or teaching you how to do that. And so we've separated this idea of society from the natural world. That's what I think, because instead of trying to figure out how do I, ensure that I meet these basic needs. If you look at Pavlov's, is that right? Hierarchy of need, or Maslow's, the stuff that comes up first is like water and food and shelter, right? Well, we've got basically all that figured out because we built a complex enough system. We have farmers who work for money, and then, people to perform services and make money to pay the farmers, and you know what I mean? So we have an economic system that's going on, but it's not connected to nature, because the way that we're farming isn't conducive with nature. It's not how a forest would replenish itself. When we grow corn and wheat fields, that's not how it would do it naturally. That's not how a grassland replenishes itself, by mowing everything, tilling it all over, killing everything, and then replanting with adding artificial nutrients back in. That's not how the systems of nature work. And you can be like, well, yeah, dude, we separated ourselves because we're human beings, and that's what civilization is, and it's great. I'm glad that we've done it. We have showers and canned goods. Like, fuck you, Nick. You want to go back to living in the mud? Like, no. But I think that if you're going to expect to not have your house burnt down in a wildfire, or die in a hurricane, you got to be thinking about, well, how do these systems work? Like, I don't live okay, I don't want to like shit on people who get their houses ruined in a hurricane or a wildfire, you know what I mean? But there's a reason that these things happen, and it's because human beings don't pay attention to the natural systems. Like, how is a woodland supposed to deal with fire? Sometimes they burn. So if we want to solve the issue of people's lives being ruined by natural disasters, we have to really study the way that natural disasters work, and then adapt to that, and build houses that are fireproof or something. I think it would be better to come up with management systems that are more natural to the way the environment has adapted to work over the last billion something years. Instead of human beings coming here, white people have lived here on this continent for 300, maybe 400 years, and we've only had industrialization for like 150 or something. And we just like, oh yeah, we figured it out. We can use nitrogen fertilizer and grow all the food that we need in the world. Like, it just doesn't work that way. The systems of nature have been in place for a very, very long time, and as we build up society using capitalism, if you will, and I think it is capitalism. I hate to sound like a commie or whatever, but this idea of like working for money and like trying to support the system, that's not. I don't like that ideal. Like, to me, I believe that I am an animal. I believe that I'm a monkey creature that has developed some amazing cognitive abilities. Not myself. I didn't do it. I guess like the thousands and millions of years of reproduction of this species and my bloodline has gotten me here, right? But I believe that we're all animals, and that we are in nature, and that if we don't work with nature, then we're working against it. And when we work against nature, we go extinct. Yeah. When the world gets too cold, the cold-blooded animals die. That's when the dinosaurs died. Or what? Maybe it was maybe it was a meteorite, like they said, but I think partly it was the Ice Age. You need to be a warm-blooded mammal to survive that, and that's pretty wild. That's pretty crazy. Crazy shit happens, man. People's houses burn down in California from wildfires, dude. And people's houses get destroyed. People die in hurricanes on the East Coast and all over the place, man. We forget how close nature is, and how close our relationship really is right now. It's very close. But we ignore it. I feel like we ignore the natural world. We don't really do much about the earthquake. Like, even myself, man, like I should be like, I don't know. I live in a trailer. It's not gonna fall apart in an earthquake. More than likely. Well, I thought somebody was coming in the room, and it was just Jake the dog. I thought somebody was interrupting me. Anyway, that's my spiel. I don't want to go off about how we're disconnected from me. What are you doing, Jake? Get out of here. Out. He's trying to climb under my chair. Why? There's probably something under there he smells. He's like, there's a food item down there, dude. I can't let that go to waste. That's fair. I'd rather him eat it off the ground than me. But I don't know what it is. It's probably a walnut. I was eating walnuts down here earlier. Anyway, this is a long enough episode. I kind of caught you up on what's going on. By the way, hey, if you're interested in, like, I survived the car wreck. I ended up with my license suspended earlier this month because the DMV didn't get all my paperwork, and that was some bullshit. If I had one choice, if I could push a button in one government branch or department or whatever, if I could get rid of it, I would choose the DMV. I'd let the military stay. I'd let welfare, all that, all these things the libertarians hate, dude. I don't care if the roads are funded publicly. You can hear Jake. Stop. Will you just be okay, dude? He's like, you're just making sounds. You're not helping me. He's like, I just want to be friends, man. That's Jake, the dog. If that wasn't clear. What was I talking about? Yeah, fuck the DMV. Anyway, that happened. I'm still kicking. I'm still moving, and I'm not letting it slow me down. I'm driving a 76 Chevrolet Cheyenne. I think it's a K30. It's not a K10. It's got a 350 in it. 350 V8. Let's look this up. 350 Chevy engine. K1500. I think it was a K30. Let's just look up Chevy Cheyenne. It's a flatbed. It guzzles a lot of gas. And sorry, I'm looking up what it might be. Okay. Couldn't figure it out. I don't know what a K means, but I'm pretty sure it's a K30, 350 full ton pickup and a flatbed, and it's really fun, man. It is definitely more my style, if you will. Like, I guess it's I don't know. If you look at me, I'm like I'm a degenerate hippie. Like I've got short facial hair most of the time because I don't shave consistently. I've got long hair. I'm always wearing the Carhartt and jeans. I look like I've been working. And when you see me in that truck, it looks like I've been working. And you look at me and I'm all smiling just because I'm a dorky stoner kid. It's just the way I look. And it's just more my speed. The thing doesn't go faster than 55, and that's like flooring it on the highway. People must hate driving behind me, but I don't care, dude. And that's the way I like it. I feel like at heart, part of my spirit animal, or one of them, it's definitely an old man, and I just feel like that's the kind of truck that an old farmer dude drives around, and I like that. So my life's pretty cool. And, yeah, man, we just keep chugging along and making things happen. So if you would like to help out in any way, don't try. Don't just let me see. Just listen in and see if I produce any more content in the next whenever. I'm not even gonna say anything except, yeah. Thank you to the Patreon people, the people that already do help out. I really appreciate it. I just can't believe it. I mean, it's really cool. I forget that how much of a big part of this life, of my life, this has been, and how much it isn't right now is, it's sad to me, and it's kind of frustrating, and I'd really like it to be part of my life again. But now is not the time, man. I have to get more of my shit together, and I'm gonna try. For a while, I'm gonna keep trying to bring you guys content and to do things that will inevitably get content to you. But I have so many ideas. It's just getting this process down, man, of making the farm run smoothly. Because I didn't get to this, but a big thing that I'm doing is I'm really looking at the farm and really thinking about it as a system. And as I build the larger concept of the vision of how I want to make it look, things are making sense to me. Like I'm kind of over the summer, there were some things that I needed to learn. And I think I learned that I did the research. I think I'm at a point where, it's really just practice and getting things done and just doing it. And I just got to stay focused, and part of that is not letting myself be distracted, even if it's producing content like this and doing things that I want to be doing, because I have a lot of interests, but I got to focus down and make sure that my business and my farm is running the way that it needs to be ran. So that's it, guys. Thank you all for listening, and shout out to to all the patrons, man. You guys are a blessing. I would not be offended if any of you guys stopped contributing, but it is really helping me because I'm still paying Libsyn bills, $20 a month. So you guys are bringing in a little extra income, and I would really like to help out. Really like to make that worth it. But it's like I said, it's the time. Yeah, that's it. So yeah, thank you guys again, and have a nice day, man. Dream bigly, and do some cool shit. Make some fun things happen. Help somebody out. I don't know, man. Just make sure you're living the best life you could live.